also personally like to keep in mind, I don't like sports that much, but I have always been a big fan of the NBA. And I noticed that like people are so critical of the players. And I think that's just part of the fun. And that's just part of the fun of liking something like that. Is just being critical and like, you know, hating on the players or the, you know, whoever that you don't like. And so I kind of keep that in mind, that just because somebody, you know, like hates LeBron James doesn't mean if they met him in real life they would be like, LeBron? You know, like, so I mean, I try not to take it personally because it's all just part of the fun, really. I mean, I don't know. You just kind of keep things in perspective in that way.
I think it's important to be able to distinguish the type of hateful comments that you're getting, because there are some where they're saying where, like, if you made a video people don't like and they're like, this video sucks, like, okay, well, why did it suck? If they say like, oh, well, your microphone was peaking or something happened, then you can take away kind of the hateful language and take away something from it. But there are other times where, like, do you guys know who LD Shadow Lady is? Yeah? So I was in UHC and I killed her, which is the worst thing you can ever do, because my video had like 97% dislikes and everyone's like, you are the worst person ever! And I got hate comments and death threats and all kinds of stuff, and it's like that you have to just ignore. Like that is just people who are extremely passionate about a certain YouTuber and they love her to death. I love Lizzie. I would be upset. I was upset I killed Lizzie. But you know, it's a game, you have to do it. So I think that, whatever, I needed to win, so. But I think that it's important to be able to look at those comments and realize that, like, I can take myself out of that position. They don't hate me, they hate the fact that someone killed a YouTuber that they enjoy. And so I was able to not get upset about that. Not in real life. You say that so calmly.
YouTuber, whatever.
I had to take her out, and
it's just a little murder.
She was a threat. No, but I mean, I was able to take out, you know, myself from that and just plug in the fact that had it been anyone else, that person would have gotten those same comments. And so sometimes you can look at a comment that's negative or hateful and remove yourself from that, because it wasn't anything that I did personally. They're not calling me a bad person. They were calling me a bad person, but like not me personally. So I think it's important to be able to look at the type of hateful comments you're getting and be able to say like, okay, is this actually someone who doesn't like me? Did they not like the thing that I did? Or is there something that I can take that's constructive from the negative thing that they've said?
Yeah, and I would agree completely with all of that. I think one, it's looking at the general trends in the comments. So like, hey, if a lot of people are telling you to normalize your audio, maybe it behooves you to figure out what normalizing your audio is and do that, because that'll just make your videos better and more interesting as a result, right? A lot of those constructive, thoughtful comments are just, you know, suggestions for you to make your content better and make it, you know, more exciting for the audience who's watching it. And at the end of the day, if you are a YouTube gamer or putting up videos on YouTube and looking to do this on a regular basis, you are an entertainer. You are delivering a creative product for the entertainment of other people, and so it is your job to make sure that you're delivering people, you know, something that is quality and something that they're going to want to enjoy watching. You know, the other thing to remember about just the pure haters, the ones who are just there and being mean-spirited in the comments, hey, they clicked on your video, you got a view. Congratulations. And those are always the best people too, because they're the type of people who will click on the video again and again to check back when everyone has replied to their comment. They're like, oh, who replied to me? Oh, let me bash this person too. Oh, you're so stupid for disliking my comment. Then so it's like, yeah, keep watching that video. Retention time for days, friends. Come on. Refresh, add unit. Yeah, so there's people with hands up. Don't worry, we're getting in the final 15 minutes. We'll have questions. So get excited. Hype for the questions. What?
Switch chairs. Switch in a while.
Switch chairs? Move to a different chair that you were otherwise not in.
The Ewok claims the chair. The chief.
His name is Fuzzbutt.
Does the Ewok have a name?
Yeah, it's Fuzzbutt.
Oh, it's Ewok.
It's a backpack.
Would you like it?
No. Take care of him. He's the keeper of the chair.
There we go.
We need like a bumper.
What do you have to say, Ewok?
No, I'm good.
Nothing. Speechless. Right, a little stage fright. Austin, any tips for him in stage fright?
No.
Give him a hug.
Give him a hug.
Oh my God. Bye.
I ship it.
This is a serious OTP.
If you put it on backwards, it looks like it's hugging you.
It's my bae. So anyway, welcome to a very serious discussion about building a gaming channel on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. One piece of advice that you wish you had when you had started your gaming channel, outside of don't choose Peanut Butter Gamer as your name.
Don't try to be PewDiePie. By which I mean, don't try to emulate the success of other people. Don't compare yourself to people who've already made it. Like you're not gonna. It's not gonna happen in a day. It didn't even happen for me in a year. So just take it slow. Do stuff you love. Do it for the passion of it, not because you want to be the next millionaire YouTuber. So play games you love. Play with your friends. Do stuff you like because that's what will keep you motivated to keep going. If you're looking for numbers and subs and views and money, then it's not going to happen. And you're going to get completely demotivated super fast, and why is it working for this person and not for me? So you have to just stay true to yourself and actually do it for the passion, because it's tedious work. I wouldn't say what I do is hard work, but it's very time consuming. So you have to dedicate a lot of your life to doing it if you want to actually do it properly. And I know when I did it, when I started, it was like trying to juggle college, trying to juggle the channel all at the same time. So you have to do it because you love doing it. If you don't love doing it, then it's all going to fall apart.
Preach.
Most of the people that I know that are successful YouTubers or streamers or whatever in general have that quality where they started because it was a hobby. It was something they really, truly enjoyed doing. And it's, like you said, like, it's not, you're not going to say sometimes that what we do is hard. I mean, it can be hard, it can be stressful, it can take a toll on you. But if you do have that basis, you start with that basis of being passionate and driven, it's going to make those times where it is really hard easier because you do truly love it. But that also goes back to what I said before, is like, you have to find the balance of being able to just do you and decompress and live your life, and that can be very hard. But and it is a little disappointing nowadays. And not everybody is like this. Obviously, people are still super passionate. That's why a lot of you guys are here, because you're passionate about videos, you're passionate about streaming, you're passionate about creation in general. But I don't like seeing people that like say like, well, I just quit my job and this really needs to work for me. I'm like, you're doing it wrong. Like, I feel for you, but you really gotta have a backup plan sometimes and recognize that maybe it won't happen right away, and maybe it won't happen. I'm not trying to be a downer. I'm just trying to be realistic and let you guys know what to expect, because so many people are trying to do this. This doesn't mean don't try it. Absolutely. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying it's healthy and it's going to behoove you, I like that word earlier, to gain all the information and knowledge you can about what you're trying to get into before you do it.
I've done a panel similar to this at a lot of different conventions, and my friend Andre the Black Nerd, it's his channel name, so I'm okay saying that. It's not racist. But Andre the Black Nerd, he'll always have this line, which I love, and I'll repeat it to every convention that I speak at. It's like, if you want to get rich, if you want to get famous, go rob a bank. Because you are going to do both of those things a whole lot faster than if you start a YouTube channel. Like, do YouTube because you love it, don't expect to get money out of it, you know, do it because you're passionate and you have something to say, and you know, you're a creator and you're excited to share a message with the community. Because if you're doing it for the money, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And at this point, because there are so many people doing it, it's really hard to differentiate and kind of break through. So, you know, there you go.
Don't clickbait.
Yeah. It's also like being in any like if we were talking about the NBA earlier, right? Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people in this room who play basketball or softball or baseball for fun. In the NBA, yeah, they play baseball, sports ball. But
I gave up my career in the NBA to become a YouTube gamer.
Yeah, if you grow up playing basketball, everyone says, you know, when they're little and they're playing basketball, I want to grow up and I want to be in the NBA, right? And you can be really good at basketball and you can practice all the time and you can go and play, you know, basketball in college. There's only a small number of people in the world that get to play in the NBA. But that doesn't mean because you don't get to make it in the NBA that you have to stop playing basketball as an adult. Just because it's something that you can't do professionally doesn't mean that it's not something that you can still enjoy. And I think that's a lesson a lot of people forget, is that the goal is like, I want to be, you know, a huge YouTuber and I want to be able to do this full time, which is an admirable goal and you should still try. But just because you don't get there doesn't mean that you can't continue to have a passion for it and continue to enjoy it. Sorry, I'm getting emotional. You can keep doing it.
Well,
places! We're not done with the question!
I'm tired.
You change places!
No. Don't do that. Fire hazard. Don't do it.
Power!
Whew, crisis averted.
well, speaking of being emotional, I'm sorry for crying on the stage. I got something in my eye about 20 minutes ago.
It's fine, we're all gonna cry at least once. It's okay.
Thank you guys. I'll cry on his shoulder. But yeah, sort of similar to something Jack said that I really agree with as far as advice. YouTube is not a competition. And I have seen a lot of people, and even in the past, myself to an extent, I've like looked at that like, oh man, I gotta do this like everyone else is doing, I gotta keep up with this, I gotta keep up with that. And I'm not saying don't motivate yourself, because I think that's important. But I think it's good to be your own, like, it's good to compete against yourself. To me, it's important to not be like, look at Matt, I'm gonna get as many subscribers as him, and if I don't, I failed. Because I think that's just a really bad mindset to get in, even if you're kind of thinking that. Just completely throw that away. Just focus on you. Try to outdo yourself every time, and that's really, to me, that's the way I found that I improve best, is when I look at my own stuff and think, okay, what am I doing? What can I do to one-up my own stuff, my own content?
Yeah, and it's good to like look at what other people are doing and be like, man, like they're really enjoying doing their content, and like I love what like you're on billboards. That's insane. It's like, you know, I would love to do something like that, and I would love to, you know, enjoy what I'm doing. I do enjoy what I'm doing, but I'd love to do, you know, different stuff and kind of switch it up. But at the same time, when you're looking at people's, if I look at PewDiePie's numbers, my goodness, I'm gonna feel like crap about myself. So it's good to, you know, see what other people are doing and get excited about what you're doing and enjoy your content. But if you're looking purely on a numbers-based thing, it's only gonna hurt.
Yeah, I think it's finding the balance. Like I keep saying balance, I'm a broken record here. But no, it is finding the balance of seeing what people are doing. That's healthy, that's fine. But what a lot of people don't realize too, especially when I talk, going back to like what's one of the hardest things about, you know, running a gaming channel, is recognizing that your job is heavily mood-based. So if I work like a 9 to 5 in an office or whatever, I'm not saying your stresses of life aren't going to affect you or whatever. I'm just going to say it's affect you a little bit less than it would if you were on a camera with mics in front of you and people are counting on you to make their day better and all that. So recognizing that you have a very heavily mood-based job. So when you're comparing yourself to all these other people and you're getting like thrown into all these analytics of like, oh, they're doing so much better, they gain X amount more subscribers than me, it's a very toxic mindset to be in. It's okay to be aware of like what other people are doing in a healthy sense of like, oh, I could try that and do my own spin on it. But if you're getting way too down the rabbit hole, then it's just something that it's going to translate in your content. If you hit live, you go live streaming, and people are going to be able to sense it in your videos. People are going to be able to tell that you're not 100% there. I've done that before. That's why when I'm in a bad mood, like I don't really typically record. I don't typically stream. And some people do it it works differently for other people to deal with stresses and bad mindsets, but that's how I deal with it. I wait till I can put out the best possible live stream, the best possible YouTube video. Because in the long run, if I put out a garbage video, that just hurts me. You know?
And like playing off that too, so when people are creating content, you know, as Max said, he waits until he's in a good place and he's like feeling good and energetic to do his content. So when you're watching other people's content, that's like their prime moment. That's like their highlighted, you know, good mood. That's their best content. And if I'm comparing myself to somebody and I'm like, wow, they're killing it. Like, look at them. They're doing so well. And if I'm feeling down, I'm like, you know, why can't I do that sometimes? So it's comparing yourself, but within boundaries and being reasonable.
I think too, it's important to note that even if you can get to a point where you can do YouTube full time, it's not for everybody. I will be the first person to tell you that I got to a point in my YouTube career where I could do it full time, and I did it for a month, and I was so stressed out and so anxious all the time, knowing that like your paycheck varies month to month. If people don't watch your videos, you don't make as much money, and as a single mom, like I couldn't put that pressure on myself, and so I left my channel at a point where I was doing it full time and got a full-time job, and now I do 2 full-time jobs because I'm brilliant. So now I do YouTube full-time and I have my gaming career. So my career, I still get to work in gaming. I work with Twitch full-time with all of these awesome people, and I get to still do my YouTube channel. But even if you get there, it's really important to know that it's okay to like get to a point where you think, you know what, maybe this isn't something that I can put that stress on myself. I couldn't handle that, and that's okay to admit it. It's okay to think, this is really hard. It is not easy to be a full-time YouTuber. It's not just playing games. Your income varies for many different things. You'll get brand deals, and every time someone says, hey, we want you to promote our product, you think, is someone gonna think I sold out? But like, this is my livelihood and I have to make money. There are a lot of choices that go into doing YouTube full time and having your money based off of playing video games that are just very, very stressful. And so it's important to know too that if you do get there, it's awesome, but it's okay to be able to be like, I can't handle the truth.
You've actually got 3 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little one.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
She watches a lot of YouTube. Just kidding. We have a name.
Hey, and now, ladies and gentlemen, well, we change places one final time. It's time for Q&A. Are you running Q&A here? Great. She's holding up 2 fingers, which means something. It means the international sign of peace, as well as which it also means the second mic. So there you go. Do you want them to go up to that center area, or do you want?
If you would like to ask a question, please line up in the center.
There we go.
Please don't pull on.
Well, there goes my question about sexism in the industry.
Okay. Hey.
I don't know how to get back in.
Those are awesome. I need to get in somewhere.
Get in there?
Yes, is it the ham board?
Yes, the ham board.
Okay.
Is this your camera?
Okay, we're not gonna be able to get
ours.
Okay, question
Anyway,
speed round. You're allowed 1 question, so none of this like I have a question with 2 parts, blah, blah, blah. 3-pronged question, 5-paragraph essay, please. There's also a massive exit sound of this room, man. Like, no one cares about you. Bye, thanks for coming. Okay, hey, real quick, let's go through this.
Hi, I was wondering, after you've reached so many videos, how do you keep coming up with original content?
How do you come up with new and original ideas after doing so many videos?
I think the YouTube landscape just changes so often that like year on year it's just completely different all the time. So 1,000 videos ago I was a completely different person YouTube-wise. So you sort of adapt as you go along. You kind of find new jokes that you like. You find your own personality a small bit more each time that you do it. And then like the people who watch your videos give you feedback, and then you adapt to that. So it's just an ever-changing landscape. So while it's like I have like what, 2,000 videos, it still doesn't feel like that because it just feels new year on year.
I think for me, one of the things that's really interesting is there's always new games coming out. There's always new discussions to be had, and so like, you know, covering new topics or games that I've never experienced or played before gives me kind of a creative refresher, right? Like, yes, we've covered a bunch of Mario theories at this point. Yes, we've covered a bunch of FNAF theories at this point. But each time there's a new game, each time, like, for all of those, I can go and hop over to, like, Overwatch, or I can hop over to Undertale or something else that is, like, creatively invigorating to me. Or, like, do larger projects like Game Lab, which was completely outside of my wheelhouse and was, like, a really creatively refreshing thing where I was able to kind of expand my skills, learn new things, try a bunch of new stuff, and now go back to game theory and be like, I learned all this new stuff and I can apply it to make all of my stuff better.
I think a big thing too is collabing. If you're finding different people who are doing this sort of same thing as you and sort of combining minds and bouncing funny moments off of them, that really helps too to keep things fresh.
Great, awesome, thank you.
Hey guys, I'll keep this really brief. Sean, you actually inspired me to start doing YouTube, so it's a surreal experience.
Give yourself more credit, not me.
And I'm having a blast doing this, by the way. But my big question for you guys is, as far as the future of your channel, with gaming especially, it's a very saturated market, and I've especially noticed that as more of a starting YouTuber. Are you guys considering doing sort of contests and situations to help give some people that work really hard, provide great content, but they're just missing that little piece to get them to the next level?
I think that one of the things that it sometimes works for some people, right? Like that's how Cinnamon Toast Ken came up, right? He was discovered through Felix, and Felix kind of helped. Yeah, right? And so, no one knows about you.
Dang.
He's the most popular person in this room. It's okay. But there are sometimes where that situation doesn't work, right? Like a great example is like my brother started a YouTube channel, and I can push my brother all day long, but that doesn't mean that he's gonna get subscribers and viewers and watch, right? So it's, in some cases it works, and in some cases it doesn't. And so yeah, we can do that, and oftentimes we'll find other smaller content creators that we just happen to find and say, hey, like let's play games together and kind of get your channel out there. But that's also not like the end-all be-all answer to make your channel blow up, if you would call it that.
For me, because Game Theorist runs differently than a lot of other gaming channels, like I'm always on the lookout for up-and-coming guys who have really good shows that would make sense on the channel. Or if not, you know, as potentially an editor or as potentially a writer at this point, because we have game theory and film theory, and we want to make sure that, you know, my knowledge base is only so limited, so like, it only reaches so far, so finding people who know games that I've never played or know scientific things that I've never done, you know, just makes overall the content that we're producing better. And so yeah, I'm always on the lookout for those sorts of things, and like any sort of business, there are times like where I'm like, oh, I'm really looking for people, oh no, I've got too many people, you know, and so like, but yeah, I'm always looking for opportunities to spotlight more people, whether it's on the channel or like building off their own stuff. It's just, those opportunities don't come around all the time, so like you have to be really selective about when you do those things.
I was going to say, not to like promote live streaming and stuff, but like collaborating with people, you have like these tools on the internet, because the internet's a huge place and it's easy to be like saturated. But you also have these tools like Twitter, Instagram, and you know, Twitch live streaming, and you can combine all those tools together. Because I know that I pretty much live on the internet now. Like if I'm not live streaming or doing YouTube, I'm like watching other people's content for like research or just enjoyment and stuff. And I'm always looking for, you know, just people that haven't been discovered yet, like live streaming games and stuff. And I found some of my favorite streamers, like with, you know, 20 follows, and I'm like, you're a really good streamer, so I'll shoot them a host and stuff and be like, you guys should check these guys out, tweet them out and stuff. So collaborate with like social media and stuff, and just kind of put yourself out there on the internet.
Awesome, thanks man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys anything on something. So there are a lot of like developers and publishers who would argue that uploading a game and then just adding commentary on it kind of violates copyright in the same way that you would upload a video or a song and add commentary to it. But you know, games are different because you're very actively experiencing it. So my question to you is, would you argue that some games that are very narrative focused, games like That Dragon Cancer or To the Moon, would you argue that those games aren't really best suited for Let's Play?
Ooh, this is deep. Let's get into some copyright legal issues. Thoughts? Anyone?
Well, That Dragon Cancer was a great game that not a lot of people bought because they all watched it. And so when you watch a game like that, no one wants to buy it because they already know the ending, right? And so there's some games that they make great Let's Plays because they're story-based, but it doesn't behoove the, we're going to use that word.
Man.
It doesn't do the game developers justice to do that. Every game company has their terms of service, most of them listed on their website, and if not, you can just do a quick Google search to like look at the terms of service for games, and you can find a directory of like almost every popular game publisher and what their terms of service are. So it's not that they don't make the best, it's just sometimes those games don't really do the publishers any justice, because that was a great game. Like that game specifically was a wonderful, very well told story game, but it didn't do the publishers any good because people did Let's Plays on it, and then you know the outcome. So
I think to me, and I come at this from a different angle, I think, which is, it blows my mind how successful React videos are on YouTube. And I'm not talking about like YouTubers React, Fine Brothers stuff, but like people who are just like, you know, a lot of these channels who are really significantly large channels who sit there and play like the viral video of the day, and they're like, oh, that was funny, ha ha ha, like, and that's it, and that's them reacting to it, it's crazy. But then I step back and I look at it, and even gaming videos are React videos, like, but our medium is gaming, right? Like, you know, Jack playing Amnesia, or, you know, any of us on stage playing like a VR game or a horror game or whatever, we're reacting to it. Even with That Dragon Cancer, like, it's seeing the game through someone else's eyes and seeing how they as a person relate to it. And I think that's the fascinating thing about YouTube gaming, is that yes, we're all gaming channels, but we're personality channels that communicate through the medium of games. And you're getting a closer connection to us as creators by the way that we respond. You know, did we cry to that game? Did we freak out in that moment? Oh, Jack was really awesome at this game, and Matt really freaked out at this other game.
No one ever.
But you get the idea, right? Which is, you know, that is what's so exciting about gaming content, and that's why there is, you know, yes, it is a narrative-driven game. It's something that, like, oh, you've spoiled the game because it is so story-driven, but me having a personal experience with that game isn't necessarily like taken away if I watched Jack's playthrough of it because I cried, or you know, Austin's playthrough of it because, you know, I want to experience it for myself. So I think it's an interesting area where I don't necessarily think it removes it. There's a place for it, and it's just whether or not the developer is comfortable sharing it with the world in that way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. For more videos, click on the screen and visit my website for cool merchandise.